quick recap. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we are going very fast, aren't we? Terraform is not very hard. It's just you need to know some of the laws and small things. And then when you know that, you practice, and then you should be able to. Yeah. All right. So what I'll do is I'll share my screen. And let's see if we can go through this PDF file together, which is a recap file. And then we'll ask ourselves some questions. Okay. How does that sound?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Okay. So let me share my screen. Entire screen. I'll share a window. This is the window. Share. Okay. Let me know if you can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
All right. So we started doing Terraform, didn't we? And what we wanted to do is to, when we start learning AWS, we wanted to straight up start infrastructure as a code, as in terraforming AWS. And we're going to start with VPCs. We did some VPC here, so we all have some sort of understanding as to what VPCs are. So we started with Terraform. Okay. And at the beginning, first session we talked about JSON, what JSON was, JavaScript object notation. Yeah. And I've done this document here. I've shared in the WhatsApp with you. So we discussed about JSON. I remember doing starting from an Excel sheet and then the same type of data coming into putting it into a JSON format. And as you can see, this is JSON starting with every resource or every block starts with a curly bracket and ends with a curly bracket. And within that, you could also start another one, which is a key, and then obviously whatever it pairs as well. So we learned about a little bit about JSON, which you could top up yourself, watching some videos and stuff. And then obviously we transitioned because Terraform, which is HCL configuration language, is a JSON human-readable format. Okay, so I then explained that, okay, knowing that you're going to be doing JSON, this is then transitioned into what Terraform is and so on and so forth. And we all understand that. I remember explaining to you that Terraform is an infrastructure configuration. Yeah. So it's called infrastructure as a code. So we discussed what infrastructure is. I remember that we talked about what at all is this infrastructure that people talk about that we are going to code. I remember talking to you about even your Windows machine, having Windows on it, some user permissions and stuff like that. You could actually write a code for it that manages that. Okay. A Linux machine. And we did some sort of, there's a video about infrastructure itself and cloud infrastructure, local infrastructure on your office. We talked about your home network, and so on and so forth. So Terraform will help us put all that configuration in a code, and this is why we call infrastructure as code. Okay. So then we started doing Terraform. Okay. We did the workflow, which is init, plan, apply, destroy. And then we started discussing resource blocks or blocks. Mainly, what is a block? Okay. The types of blocks. One of them is a resource. And in Terraform, each block, type of block, starts with the name of the block. So here, this is a resource block. Okay. And before you open the curly bracket and close a curly bracket, which is the outer one, you specify which resource it is, what it's actually going to do, and then you give it a variable name. This is a local variable name that we give. Okay. Some of them don't even have any action here. It just has the name. So the name is mandatory, but there are some blocks that doesn't have. It's not going to make any action. For resource blocks, you have to specify which resource. So we have a resource block, we have a provider block, we have a variable block, we have a data block. And as I said, you need to go and look at the types of blocks in Terraform. We have looked at resources, we have looked at provider, and we have also looked at variable. So we did some output blocks as well. So far, at least you know about these ones. So we know that this here is mandatory for a resource block. Then you open a bracket and you close the bracket. Within the bracket are the parameters that this instance requires. So here we have a resource block means we are going to create a resource or manage a resource. The resource we're going to do is this, and this is how we're going to call it. Okay. The resource we're going to create, these are the parameters. The AMI is there, the instance type, and you've created in EC2 before all the parameters like the key that you need to put there, the VPC you need to use, you want to use, all of those things. Okay, you put them there to create this resource. Even tags. Okay. So I remember telling you also that this is a key pair. Key and the value. Key is equal to, we have key pair values. Okay, that's what the resources parameters require, and so on and so forth. Then we did a provider block. I remember telling you that the provider tells Terraform which code to download, which plugins to download. Okay. In the provider block, you can actually add some more information. So if you want Terraform to download plugins for Azure or AWS or Google or Linux or whatever, there are so many providers, and I remember sharing the link with you as to where these providers are, okay, and how many, the types of providers that you can. And then we did variables as well, okay, where we did some sort of understanding as to how many variable types that are there. I think we need to look at data types again. As last week we mentioned in the session 5, we mentioned maps. We used maps as well. So we need to deep dive a little bit, which probably going to be tomorrow. We're going to deep dive a little bit about maps and variable types, data types in Terraform. Okay. So with this we were able to create a VPC. It wasn't nice, it wasn't neat, but the VPC was created. Okay. And then we started, okay, let's look at modules. We looked at modules, which is a reusable configuration. So basically the code that we had written in that folder that we were able to use to create the VPC, we converted it to a module, which meant that we could create as many VPCs as we want. And at the beginning, whichever VPC we created was going to be called the same. Every parameter, every detail was exactly the same. There were no changes. So we made sure that, okay, how do we make sure that the module is dynamic? And then we went into parameterizing the modules, making it dynamic, avoid hard-coded variables in the module, use required variables instead of default values. So we realized, remember that we spoke about the fact that if a variable doesn't have a default value, then it's required. If you create any configuration, Terraform configuration, you create a variable, the variable name is VPC CIDR, and you specify the type, and you didn't give any default value, then Terraform will ask you for that variable, the value. Whenever you run Terraform plan or apply, it will tell you, hey, what value do you want me to put there? So making a variable required. So what we did was then we went and commented out all the default in those variables in the module, so that the module will say, I want these variables, can't continue, I want these variables. So we found out how to pass the variables to the module. So we have commented the default values. When we're calling the module, as you can see here, how do we pass that value to the module, which requires the value? And we did one or two things to allow that to happen. Okay. Then from there onwards, we started looking at functions, because obviously the values that we are passing, some of them needed to be number, some of them needed to be strings, some of them so we started looking at functions. And then we remember I told you about function being a tool, a machine, anything that you have to pass in something, and then you get a different result after. You can pass in one or two things. I remember saying that someone on this channel was going to take a woman in a room, and after they get a baby, that's a function. Okay. If you add 2 + 2, you get 4. That's a function. Okay. If you have what's it called? Flour, sugar, egg, milk, and you mix it all together in a way, there's a way you have to do it, and you put it in the oven, you get bread. Functions. Okay. So we looked at one function which converted a number to a string for us, which we needed. Okay. So a function always starts with the function name and then brackets, and then you put whatever you want the function to convert in there. Each function is different. We looked at concatenating functions, which then takes two variables, something and something, and then add them together in one string. Okay, we looked at those, and I remember showing you as well where you can find other functions. So we practiced this one, but then I showed you where you can find other actions, and these functions you need to learn them. Most of course the ones that are used frequently, you need to learn them, because in the exam you will be asked, given a function, and they will expect you to tell them what the output should look like. Okay, so we did that as well. All right. We also started doing loops, which is the last session that we did. Instead of having to create resource blocks 3 times, that is going to create 3 resources of the same type. If I want to create 3 EC2 instances, I don't want to create copy and paste and change the values, copy and change the values. So I will create one resource block, and I will use the for each feature, which loops through a map. And this is where the map data structure came in. It loops through a map, and then it will then create the amount, the money that is there for you. we haven't looked at count yet. So there are two ways of creating multiple resources using one resource block. One of them is the for each, and then the other one is count. We haven't done that one, count, yet. But I can challenge you to just, when you have time, go and do it yourself and try and see, instead of using for each, how can I use count to create the same type of resources but multiple? Okay. And so we'll look at the count as well. Then we looked at maps. We talked about how a map is literally this, but I was going to actually deep dive into maps, because I remember using maps and not teaching you about maps. So we can spend a little bit of time to deep dive into maps. If we have 10-20 minutes today, we can look into maps today and tomorrow, or tomorrow, depending. Okay. We also looked at state management, Terraform state files. We practiced how state, remote state, a local state, and what happens if you have a state, if you don't have a state. All of those were used. We used that to understand. So I'm expecting that you know about states so far. And then we combined all those concepts, and then we created multiple subnets. And as you can see, we used the for each, and then we created a couple of subnets. This is a document that I've done so far. One item that I didn't add here is the installation of Terraform, which is an application just like any other application you will install. We managed to install it on Ubuntu, and I'm expecting that everybody here can install the latest Terraform on their laptop, either Windows, Mac, or Linux. Right. Any questions? Let's make this, everybody on mute, and let's actually discuss this. Those who are a little bit behind, you can ask. This is your opportunity to ask a lot of questions. Remember, we are all in this together, so don't think you should know or be shy or anything. Just ask. This is your opportunity for you to ask questions. Everybody's an expert in Terraform?
I think so.
Okay. I'm very good at this teaching thing then. So if I give you a task now,
Ben,
yeah,
when we were going through the blocks, I think you maybe I missed it, but did we mention locals block?
No, we haven't done locals yet.
Haven't done, okay.
Yeah, we haven't done locals yet. We haven't done data. We haven't done. So the current ones that we've done are the resource block, the variables block, output block, and the provider block. We haven't got to locals yet. Yeah, we will get there. That's advanced, isn't it? There's more, of course, but we'll get there. We are getting there. Guys, I'm expecting questions, because if I tell you to do it and you can't do it, then this is the time to ask questions. So far, this is how far we've gone. This is what we've done. If I tell you to write a Terraform module now that will do A, B, C, D, are you able to do it?
No.
Okay. I'm really happy about this. I'm very good at teaching, aren't I?
The one I can do, I can create Terraform model to create VPC.
But I'm not going to tell you to create a VPC this time.
So the other ones, I can do the output, the state file, but I haven't gone beyond that.
But Jesse, I'm impressed, you see, because I remember when we had Jesse struggling with his installation. That day, we tried to install with him, and since then, he's actually caught up with us, and he's been watching the videos, and he's caught up with us. Now, yeah, he's like, I'm really impressed. Well done, and that, because I thought you were going to, it was going to demotivate you that we didn't wait for you when you were struggling with your installation. You just left, and then you've caught up, and now you're talking about creating a module. Today, I'm going to give you a task. You all know how to create an EC2. We've created one before from the front end using AWS. We created an EC2 using Bash scripting. You remember, we created an EC2 using Bash scripting, and then we connected to we have the script actually that we have used to create a VPC. Okay, so if we go to our GitHub repository, let's go there now. Let me share this screen. Let's go to GitHub. Let me share this window, this one. So the task is coming. Those who think they are very good at this thing, the task is coming. We have 30 minutes. We'll see how we go. And look, this is it there. We have our personalized greetings project. Remember, this project is always going to come back. Do you know all of the things that we've done so far we can do with Terraform? Everything. Okay. With a Bash script, it just creates the resource and forgets about it. It doesn't know about the resource anymore. If you run the Bash script again, it will just go and create a new one and mess up things. So that's what Bash is for. But Terraform takes over the application, takes over the configuration, and manages it for you. It keeps the state, it keeps everything. So Terraform is complete. So everything we've done, we can actually continue with it. So the task is going to be, you know how we've got deploy scripts here in this project. Those who don't have copies of this project, in your own GitHub repo, you're going to have to create a project with your name, like I've done, Bernard_Oppon, dash personalized greetings as a project name. And then I can give you access to and then you download it, the code, and put it in your own project. Okay. What we're going to do is to have one more folder, which I can create now. I can actually create a folder, can't I? See. We have one more folder called Terraform. Okay. And then in that folder, we're going to create our modules. Okay. So here is the script that creates the EC2. This one creates the EC2, connects to the EC2, and deploy the application. But for now, we are going to just create the EC2. As you can see, this is a Bash script that creates a couple of variables. So the security group that is needed, the key pair that is needed, and the type of instance that we needed, the AMI. We passed all of that information into this command, and it was able to create an EC2 for us. With that same information, I want you to create a module that whenever we run that module, or we use that module, it will create us an EC2 on AWS with, I'm going to add to it, it should have a name tag. It has to have tags, and it should use these same variables. So your key, your security group variable, the AMI, and so, because remember with this script here, this big script here, remember we added tags, isn't it? So we added tags. Okay. So this script, which was able to create the EC2 and connect to it, we added tags to it. Okay, so I'm expecting today, tomorrow, when we meet, people will have their own modules, those who can attempt it, that will create EC2 in AWS region, North Virginia, using Terraform. And I'm expecting that your code will be in GitHub. You put your code in GitHub, and then I will see your code. So we are going back to our GitHub, our Git and Git again, to practice our Git and GitHub again. Okay. And then this time around, we're going to create.
Okay, one question.
Yeah.
So can we actually use the Terraform to do the push and pull request from GitHub as well?
Yes, but that's not what we are doing. You just use Linux. Just,
okay.
You just use Linux, your Linux knowledge, or anyhow you can push to GitHub. Those who don't know about Git and GitHub, we did a whole session course about Git and GitHub early this year. Those who don't know, let me know, and then we can help you with the videos are there actually in Git in YouTube. So if I go back to my Cloud9, let me log in. Let me see. Can I create a folder here? It says I can't create a folder. I don't like using GitHub from the front end. So add a file. Yep. Create a new file, upload files. You can only create a new file. So create a folder. Okay. Don't worry. Do I have a PR? No, I have some branches. I've got a lot of branches here. I don't think I need to create any PR with them. Okay, so let me go to my let me share that screen. It's going to be fun. Fun times are coming again. Fun times. Okay, let me share this screen. All right. This will help you understand the differences between both tools, the Bash, the Linux, and all that. I hope you haven't forgotten your Git. Can you see my screen, guys?
I can see.
We can see it.
I cannot see it.
Okay, let me reshare.
It's just showing a B on the screen and nothing else.
All right. Okay. Stop sharing. Share again. I will share entire window. All right. So this is my AWS again. How about now?
No.
What is going on? Can't share your screen. Dismiss. Why can't you share my screen? Share my screen. Come on. What is wrong with you? Entire screen. Share it. Oh. Right. Let me rejoin the call. It seems that it doesn't want to share my screen. Let me leave and join again. Voila, we are there. Okay, so you can see my screen now. Let me go to my Cloud9 and see if my project is there. Let's do some Linux. I bet you someone is going to tell me to increase my font. So let me prepare for that question. Mr. Increase your font. Is the font okay for you, or do you want me to increase it?
Oh, it looks good. But if you can increase it a bit.
Oh, leave me alone. I'm not doing anything. Okay, so let me close all these. Don't need it. Guys, we will get there. Trust me. You're all going to be Terraform gurus with a certificate. Okay. That's the aim. Right. So we don't have the project here, which is good. So in this Cloud9, the project is not here. The GitHub project is not here. So now I'll get this project from GitHub and put it on my Cloud9. So as you can see, all I do is go to clone. I probably don't have the SSH, so I'm not going to worry about. I'm not going to worry. Where are all my stuff? I've forgotten. So it's easy to just SSH, isn't it? So let's try and make this machine SSHable. I think we have the personal greetings config. Do we have the SSH file somewhere? I don't have it. So I'm going to create a new SSH file and do the configuration, okay? Which is good for a lot of people. So we remember that we did SSH -keygen SSH keygen. I've forgotten the command. Anybody has the command anywhere? The exact, it's in the chat, isn't it? WhatsApp chat, definitely in the chat. And if you go to the chat and you search SSH keygen, enter. There we are. Okay. So SSH keygen. This is the command, isn't it? Yeah. So and then I'm going to say my Cloud9 2 Cloud9 2 or A -A. I don't know which one is this, so I'll just I will keep the file in this location, so I'll call it same name, and then I'll put it here. Yeah, no phrase, but the file is here. As you can see, I got the file here. If I list all, I see the file. The private one is here and the public one is there, isn't it? So what I'll do is I will cut the public one, just .pub, and then I'll put it in GitHub. Okay, which means that we are telling GitHub to allow this machine to come and pull and push. Okay, then we go to GitHub, and then we go to settings. We can put it in this project. So this project settings, and then we go to deploy keys. And as you can see, I've got a lot here. Add another one, and I paste this here. Call it my Cloud9A again. So I will just call this one my Cloud9A. You see how in a year, if you didn't name these properly, you forget. What's going on? Why can't I copy? Okay, rename. Copy. So it's best that you put enough information in your naming convention. Yeah. Allow write access. Yeah, I want you to write. And oh, come on, GitHub always does that to me. Of course, you're adding this. Okay, so now I've created a new key with this new machine, which means, and I've told GitHub that please allow this machine to access this. We also have a command that we put here that can allow us to just clone without having to do any configuration. I think it's this. Okay, so of course I need to change this first. We've got all this information here, so I can actually let me see. In fact, let me copy all of this. Okay, clone. Yeah, this is what I need. Right, the information is there. As I said, you just need to know what to do, and then you find how to do it. Okay, so what I need is I'll put the key here, the private key, which is going to be this. Okay, so git SSH command is equal to SSH minus I, the key, and the project I'm cloning. Okay, key I'm using and the project I'm going to clone. Git clone this project. Voila. And I'm going to get this project from GitHub onto my laptop, onto my local machine. And if everything is okay, it should work. So GitHub is saying that, hey, you're using a key and I want us to perform a handshake. Are you happy to do the handshake? Yes, I'm happy. And then voila, it downloads the project from GitHub and it's here. Guys, remember, we did this 3 million times, and we know that there are so many other ways of getting the code from your GitHub into your repository, but the Git using SSH is easy because now there's a handshake between GitHub and this machine, and I will not have to forgive me. Using this command, our code still doesn't know anything. There's no config. Okay, so if we go to CD, the project, which is this project we just downloaded, and we get, what was the command to check the I think it was git remote -v, wasn't it? Exactly. So it's using that URL. But my question is, if I want to push to this repository, will I have to add my key again or not? I don't know. So let's see. So now you see it's using the SSH one. And so practice make perfect, and you will always not forget about these commands. It will be in your head if you practice and practice and practice. But if it's not there, just know that there's a command that can tell you which URL your project is using going forward. Okay, that was our Git. Okay, so now we got a project. In the project, it's exactly the same as what we have on Git. Yeah. So if you look at this, let me share the screen this way. Okay, so as you can see, if you go to the project, we go to the code, we have deploy scripts. We have the README file is there, the index.html is there, the config file is there, and JavaScript is there. Okay, we are going to create one more folder, and this is what I wanted you to do. Okay, so we will create one more folder and call it Terraform. So I'll just create a new folder, call it Terraform. Voila. Yeah. And in this folder, you will also create another folder, new folder, and call it modules. And that's where you're going to put all your modules. And in that modules folder, you're going to create another folder and call it personalized greeting module. Yeah. Underscore greetings. Okay. You get it. And here, it's up to you if you want to create new folders for those modules, but in here it's only files. Okay, so I can create a new file, and the first file that I'll create will be, obviously, remember, your variables file, your outputs file, and then we will call this one ec2.tf. Yeah, so the code to do your ec2 will be in this file. And then, of course, you will have your variables file. And so
that spelling is not correct.
Sorry?
You said FT.
Yeah.
Oh, some people are watching. Nice.
Or the tag.
TF is not FT. Happy days. I intentionally did that to see if people are watching. Okay, so we've got a tf.tf, and I'll create a new file and call it variables. .tf. I can have an output.tf, and then obviously the provider.tf as well. So you can put, I think it's best, we had this conversation, it's best to have one file per yeah, and then going forward you can add any other file, but these are needed. Yeah, so this is the module, and then when you finish,
You're spelling again.
guys, as I said, I'm not here to teach spellings. It's okay, we will change it. But thank you for but I want to finish this. We've got 10 minutes. Then we create another folder. Yeah. Where's the folder? Where's the folder? There. And this one will be called again personalized greeting. And this is where we are going to call. I need to think about my spellings now because people are watching.
Not only that, I did something yesterday and just one spelling error in Terraform, it didn't work.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. You are practicing, I can tell you. Okay, so remember, we have a module called personalized greetings, and we are going to call that module from here. Okay, so in here, you can create a new file and call it main.tf. Okay, main.tf, not /tf, .tf. Yeah, and of course, you still need your variables file and output file and all that. Okay, let's go and sort this. Where is the spelling?
Provider.
Master Vida. Thank you. Okay, so I'm not going to put any code in there. We are just drafting the format. So now I have this. It's empty. Guess what? We're going to do git again. Okay, so let's clear our screen. Yeah, and then I'm going to create a new branch, because if I do git status, and not git status, we have a folder that has been added. Okay, but I don't want to add it to this branch, so I'm going to clear my screen again, and then I'm going to git checkout -b. Okay, and I'm going to create a new branch called add Terraform add Terraform. Yeah, and I'm going to take it from the main branch. Okay, so I'm taking a copy of the main branch. Remember our git. I'm creating a new branch called add Terraform, and this is the command to do that. So it says that, oh, I've created a new branch. Now I am on that branch. I've changed the main. As you can see before, it was main here, and I'm on your new branch now. Okay. So everything I do here will be applied to this branch instead of that one. So I can do git add. I'm adding anything that I've just now. You know, everybody knows this. Linux dot means everything here. Now I'm adding everything. And if I do git status again, you see that they are all green. It says that it's moved to the staging area. Remember staging? Okay. Now I can commit. Git commit -m, which is my message. We can also, remember, we can just say git commit. If we don't add any parameters, Git will ask us, what do you want? It will be interactive. So I can actually, and then it's interactive. Okay, if I exit, it didn't commit anything, but I don't want the interactive, so I use git which means that this is the message. Add the message. Don't ask me any questions. Adding, and remember here you need to write proper English. New folder to manage Terraform. Yeah, I hope my spellings are okay. Good. Enter. So now it's moved from this the whatever stage, but remember here we didn't do this configuration, so it doesn't know who's done this change. I'm not going to do it. It's still created the files and everything, but when in future, when you configure a new machine, you need to actually do this, because GitHub wants to know who is the person doing this information. Let's do it. Let's do it for a good. So let's copy this, paste, and then I'll put my name there. Bernard from Cloud9. From Cloud9 A. Okay, that's my name. It doesn't matter. And then the email address, I'll just put, it doesn't matter as well. GitHub is not going to send you an email. So I'll just call it cloud9-example.com. And then you run this command to say that, can you please amend the author that you've currently used, which is the default one. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Me. You think I should go check on your bed?
Is it Control O? Is it Control O? No. Is it what? How do I? And I hate nano. Yes. Control X. And I say yes, enter. So it's now made changes to the author. So if you do git log, it says that this person made this change. Author was this. That's all it needs that information for. Before, it would have put anything information here. So this change was done by this person. Okay, let's quit this and clear the screen. Now we need to push it to the remote. Okay, so git push origin. Yeah, meaning that the code is coming here now. Okay, the code is coming here now. Okay. So when I push, we can find the code here. Okay, so I need that command again. History. This is what I was talking about, that the command, it didn't have the SSH command, it didn't configure it. So all it, every time I want to push, communicate with the remote, I need to put this in.
If we step on this,
Unless I configure it properly.
That's lava.
Okay, and this will work. Oh, come on. Oh, yeah. I know what's going on. I need to put the whole path, which is tilde environment. Environment. Okay. Now it works. Okay. So soon as we pushed, you see that it's here now. Good morning. The branch is. Are you ready? Are you ready? But we'll be ready. We're going soon. Why are you not ready? Hey, we're going in 5 minutes. Sorry, guys. Yeah. So the project is here, and if I create a PR, I'm creating a PR. I'm going straight to the main. Create a PR. And I can check that it's added 4 files, okay? EC2, provider, variables, main.tf. And that's it. So now if I go to the code, I have this folder here now, okay? So this is exactly how your code is going to look like. Those who want a copy of my code, you can clone it. You can literally clone it. It's public. You don't need access. So you can just clone it and then you copy these files, okay? You copy these files and create your own project in your own GitHub repo account. And then you can play around. For GitHub, there's a lot of things in what's it called? in YouTube, videos on YouTube that you can watch that I have shared in the playlist, all the playlists. Yeah, this is public, so you don't need access to clone it. You can put it, can do everything. And if you go into the folder, as you can see, we've got the modules, personalized greetings, and then we've got the where we're going to call it from. The main.tf is there. Of course, it's empty. Of course, it's empty. That's your task. Okay. Do it, and then tomorrow I will also try and do it after, and then we'll see how we can create the the EC2 instance in the public subnet in the region of North Virginia. Okay. Any questions? This is going to be nice.
Yeah, Opie, please, could you define the assignment and in the WhatsApp chat for us? Like,
I just said it. You write it. Your task is to write whatever I've just said in a Word document and share it in the WhatsApp for us, please.
Oh.
You're saying, oh, I just said the thing and explained and did things. So you're saying, oh, you go and define it. Come on. I'm expecting you to do it. I'm giving you 1 hour.
I forgot to know.
Watch the video then. I'm going to share the video. Guys, any questions?
Okay.
It's clear.
Very clear, isn't it?
Yeah, please.
Yep. Good. Have fun, guys. Have fun. This is it. You're creating a module. You're only going to create one EC2, so you don't need a loop. It's easy. Creating only one EC2 in this module. It's just that you need to make sure that the module will ask for parameters, and you pass in the parameters, which is going to be the key, the tags, all of those things, and then when you run the module Terraform plan, it should just create the EC2 for you. Okay. Then as time goes on, using personalized greetings, how do we make Terraform connect to the EC2 and actually let it clone GitHub and all that and do all those things that we used to do Bash to actually install the application on an EC2 the same way we did Bash? That's the challenge we want to get to. Okay. But we are still obviously doing a VPC as well. Because I don't want to use the VPC to set a task, I'm using the personalized project to set task for you. So whatever we learn in creating VPC, we will replicate as a task in the VPC module. Okay. Right. Let me leave you again. Today is a hard stop. I'm going to play football, so I will catch up with you soon.
Enjoy football.
Thank you.
We will meet again tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Bernard.
Chris, leave this call now.